What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fan? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench podcast network and channel. Giving a shout out to the rest of the crew and for everyone who's tuning in. Thank you for supporting Behind the Bench and subscribing to the channel, helping to make the show the best that it can be. Hey, this is a real quick video, real quick. I just said quick twice. Hey, but check it out. I love giving props and kudos, man, to when people are doing good things, man. And in the world of professional sports, in particular the NBA, today's commentary, I believe, is very toxic and is very vile, unprofessional, irrational, extreme, vindictive, when things don't go their way for a certain guy. And I want to give kudos real quick to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have started the season off, who have actually achieved the best start in franchise history after the first 3 weeks of the season, where they stand at 14-0 to start the 24-25 NBA campaign. I want to give kudos to this franchise because, for a long time, it was said that they were trash. The front office was no good. They didn't know what they were doing. People need to step down. People need to be fired. People need to be traded. Coaches need to be, canned. Sounds a lot like what they say about the Los Angeles Lakers. Wherever the hurricane go, that's where the all the chaotic commentary follows. But I want to give credit to this franchise because I know the owner of this team, Dan Gilbert. I know he has a smile on his face, and I never believed that they were a terrible franchise, terrible ownership, because it's the same owner now. He built the state-of-the-art practice facility for his star player back in, was that 2008-ish? He built it for his star player. And they made moves to where they won 66 games in 2009 and then 61 games in 2010, where so much so they were favored and picked to win it all at the beginning of those seasons. They had the deepest roster in the league. And I never believed it, man. But when you're forced to, go all in, it creates a very unpredictable outcome, but predictable at the same time. Unpredictably predictable and predictably unpredictable, because you're making moves, man, that's going to be short-lived anyway. And that creates more tension, more anxiety. But this franchise, after its star player left it for the second time, they was left out to dry. But they made some solid moves over these past years. And they benefited from the James Harden trade in particular, where James Harden was traded to the Brooklyn Nets in a 4-team deal that involved Brooklyn, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Indiana Pacers, and the Houston Rockets. And in return, Cleveland Cavaliers received Jared Allen and Taurean Prince in that trade. And they drafted very well Darius Garland in 2019 and Evan Mobley, I believe, in 2021. And they acquired Karis LeVert in a trade from the Indiana Pacers. I believe that was around 2022. And then they brought in star player Donovan Mitchell from the Utah Jazz. And Donovan Mitchell has one of the top 5 all-time point per game average in postseason NBA history. You combine all that together, and then you bring in some quality role players. Isaac Okoro, I believe, am I pronouncing his name right? Is it Wade? And then Jorge Niang, who once played for the Utah Jazz and then played for the Philadelphia 76ers. And he was brought to the Cavaliers, and he's one of the better three-point shooters coming off the bench. And is it Darian Wade? I believe Darian Wade, well, I know his last name is Wade. And just subtle moves that they've made, man. And they got the chemistry down pat. They playing for one another. They got a solid coach leading that team now. And I believe that is it Kenny Atkinson, if I'm not mistaken, is coaching the team. If I got a mistake on that, whoever's tuning in, if y'all know that for sure, correct me. If y'all come across this video. But nonetheless, I just love seeing this, man. It makes me feel good. They stuck to the plan. They have a great balance of young talent. Then you have a star player like Donovan Mitchell, who's entering his prime. And I just appreciate that. And it just shows me you don't need to stack the deck to win, man. I never, ever believe that. And the reason I never believe that is because history shows that you don't have to do that. That's why. See, this is what I'm saying. Okay. The Hurricane he's a great talent. He's a great talent. But he chose to bring forth and usher in an era of basketball that's been the antithesis of what real team building is. And ultimately, he sold himself short too. Now, the way I figure it is, if this team starts off 14-0, then the Hurricane could have led Cleveland to a title leading a conventional team rather than going to South Beach to stack the deck to try to run the table. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. And when he returns back to Cleveland, and instead of, allowing Andrew Wiggins, who was the #1 pick of the 2014 draft, to, focus on becoming a player for the Cleveland Cavaliers and allow him to grow and develop under that system, when they had hired David Blatt, who was the best coach in international basketball at the time. And then you had Kyrie Irving, who was ascending to become a superstar player. Remember, Kyrie Irving led FIBA to the he led Team USA to the FIBA championship. I believe that was in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. And he was All-Star Game MVP at one time, averaging 24 points a game prior to the return of the Hurricane. Instead of the 4 years that collapsed by 2018, you could have really built something that could have carried out for the next 7 to 8 years. So when you go the shortcut route, the super team route, you're gonna crash out by you're gonna start the crack in year 3, and you're gonna just fold like a tent by year 4. That's the formula. A real build team, if they become championship caliber, on average, they're gonna have a 7 to 8 year run. So I never believed in the notion that the owner didn't want to win or the front office was trash. I never believed in that stuff, man. And now they proving it. But now you don't hear the talking heads giving giving props or acknowledging what the Cavaliers are doing. Well, I'm gonna do it and just say I'm just happy to see them do it, man. I'm elated actually, because like I said, being a fan of the Los Angeles Lakers, we definitely could have achieved the same thing if we would have stayed the course. There's no doubt in my mind. And when I say no doubt, I mean I wouldn't be saying this all these years if not only believing it, but knowing it based on the metric. But it'd be very ironic if the Cleveland Cavaliers won a championship. As an NBA fan, man, I would, like, in my own way, I would celebrate that, because I'm sick and tired of these superstars and the movement spearheaded by the Hurricane gets celebrated for shortcutting the game and cheating the game. And that's just the bottom line, man. It's too many basketball players, not just superstars, man, but key players, man, that have been part and have really played hard, man, and really given their all to made a sacrifice for the team to achieve victory and to ultimately pursue and win a championship. And when superstars are allowed to circumvent the system and cheat the game, it discredits all of that, and it actually devalues winning, and it tends to make excuses for losing. But when you're building and you suffer in defeat along the way, to me it builds character and you come back more determined the next year. You come back more determined the next year. You come back more determined the next year because you're not taking those shortcuts. So ultimately, you understand. Ultimately, you really understand what you need to do to improve as a player, and how everybody needs to contribute to the team's success, where everybody knows their role. And that's one of the main reasons why Cleveland is doing so well starting the season, is because everybody on their team know their role. Everybody on their team know their role. And they're going to be a quality team for some years to come because they're a young team. They're a young team. I think Mitchell, I think he's only like, what, 20? He entered the league in 2017. I believe he played, was it 1 year? I know he played college at the University of Louisville, and he entered the league in 2017. So this is probably about his, let's see, about his 8th or 9th season. So he's about 27 years old. So he right around the point where he entered his prime. You know, he's reaching the prime stage of his career. You know, so really what they're doing is amazing, man. And like I said, I respect teams that do it the right way. So I just want to throw it out there real quick. Kudos to the Cleveland Cavaliers. All that nonsense about the front office being trash, that was hyperbole, because the talking head was upset because they didn't make enough moves to stack the deck. They didn't make enough moves to stack the deck for the Hurricane. That's really what it comes down to, man. And it'd be very ironic if Donovan Mitchell helped lead that franchise to a championship. No strings attached. No strings attached. So, no suspensions. That's a whole nother story. So I just want to drop that nugget. And until next time, this is JB for BTB Behind the Bench.